celebrate a milestone episode. I mean, I asked myself this for the past month while worrying if I should post more bonus interview episodes from the past year. The answer is yes. Yes, there is. You make a milestone episode so epic it's worth listening to. So, what happened to mine? I'll tell you exactly what happened to mine. See, the last time you heard of me was the last week of November of 2024. We just finished another recording of episode of Cobra Kai. We just finished recording another episode of Cobra Kai, and December was coming up. But, we're all busy that month, or so I thought. We're going to be busy that month with the holidays. I, on the other hand, wanted to take a mental health break. And that very same week that I got that break, a game came out called Marvel Rivals. For those that know me, know I love a good video game. I think back to 2020 when we were all stuck at home because of the COVID pandemic, and I binge played Marvel Avengers, an online game on the PS4, and I wanted to get all the stuff on it, the skins, everything, the extra stuff. I had, of course, money, money was the issue here. We were all let go of our jobs. We were all getting paid by the government. Of course, I wanted to put all my money on this game, and I did. Well, on some other things as well. But there's like this game, man, this game. The only problem with this game's downfall was also due to the pandemic. The creators and developers of the game, Eidos Montreal, were working from home at the time. They couldn't work with the actual work computers to fix the bugs right away. They were a lot of bugs, man. Yeah, it was horrible. They couldn't give us new characters until a few 6 months later, and didn't give us a new missions until the next year. It was doomed. It was bad. Fast forward to 2021, the developers thought, let's make a game, a new game, and see if the fans accept it. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, again, another good game where you can roam around and shoot and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I barely started playing it in 2023. Don't ask me why, but I was late for the game. Wasn't. I'm still not into it. I'm just like, whatever. So you can just imagine my surprise when earlier in that year that Marvel Rivals was announced. It came out the week we were on break from the podcast. A 6 versus 6 shooter game with currently 37 characters and free to play on multi platforms. I dare you to look on social media and not see a single thing about this game. I dare you. Come on, do it. Do it. um, you're sitting there listening to this. He's talking like that again. He's talking like that. He changed his cadence again. He's talking like that again. What is he gonna do? Nothing more. The game reached 10 million players worldwide within 72 hours. Furthermore, it peaked at 480,990 concurrent players on Steam on December 8th, 2024. It surpassed 20 million players as announced on December 17th. Throughout its first month, the game maintained most of its in game player count. The Chinese games industry research website GameLook estimated revenue of about $135 million across all platforms in this period. Yes. The game started out with a Season 0 easy to play with a bunch of skins for characters. And yes, you are able to buy the Battle Pass. At the time, it was affordable to the gamers. Come and play this game and win stuff along the way, as well as rank up in the process. I was in love, and away I went to play this game. I even bought in on the Battle Pass and thought I was going to stop enjoying this game in a few weeks. Boy, was I wrong. Now, for those that know me, what happens when I enjoy something a little too much? I stick around. Uh, Tumblr Live. And yes, everywhere I turned, even on YouTube, I've seen short clips of people having fun on this game. It has me going to Twitch and watching gamers play this game just so I can get a drop and show up on my game. It's safe to say that I am enjoying this game as it is. I am having fun meeting new gamers on here and or adding them just by watching their streams on social media. So to answer the question as to what happened to the 200th episode, Marvel Rivals happened. I went and wanted to take a mental break towards the beginning of winter. I don't know about some of you, but it helped with my depression. Being able to play a game that makes me happy. But of course, I heard all the questions of when episode 200 was going to be, and those that truly mattered and cared about my depressive moments told me to post it when I'm ready. I am playing a game, and that's something that has helped with my mentality. I'm still in the process of playing this game. I've not stopped playing. I've lost sleep trying to play this game. I've lost friends trying to play this game. I've lost friends. Like I clocked in at least 100 hours of gameplay on this game. Come on, are you with me here? Um, but currently I'm taking a break because I needed to get this episode out. Currently in the game, season one has just come out, and yes, I bought that battle pass again. But now I have gotten all the fights out of my system and waiting for new characters to emerge so I can go play again. I'm gonna get lost again. Sorry guys. As soon as this happens, I am out. This game characters have annoyed me so much that I have decided to listen to podcasts instead so I can be in the zone. Okay. You ever been in a zone while playing a game for hundreds of hours and then that zone takes you away because all these characters, their voices start getting to your head? You sleep and you dream about these characters saying the most random phrases that they're saying in the game. uh Chaos. It's chaos, I tell you. In the words of the Scarlet Witch, it is chaos. Oh, it's Spidey time. And then, like, of course, there's always that one good boy, the good boy that is the shark, Jeff the shark. It That's how my ADHD works. Okay, I'm just playing games now, and instead of listening to them say their catchphrases, I am listening to podcasts. And I've been binge listening to these podcasts. And I'll tell you which ones a bit later, but for right now, hi, I'm Evo, and I'd like to welcome y'all back to the 200th episode of my third place podcast. It's not as epic as I was going to make it out to be, but I figured a few months from now we can celebrate another milestone, and not just because it is the 200th episode, but because at the end of 2024, I was hit with the goal of 20,000 downloads. And again, if you're wondering why it took me this long, I wanted to do it in January and announce the 200th episode and the 20,000 downloads on the anniversary of the podcast. That is three things in one. I'd like to welcome you all to season three of the M3P podcast. So a lot of things happened while we were on break, and I wrote all of these things down just in case something like this would happen, where I just like, hey, and this week this happened. I'm gonna do the episode this week. Okay, no, didn't happen. And then another thing happened this week, and I'm gonna do this episode this week, and didn't happen again. It just doesn't happen at all. All right. So first of all, WWE debuted on Netflix. I'll have more to say on the next episode when we do predictions for the Royal Rumble. So stay tuned for that. We're I'm coming right back. Okay. Give me a few days, get to know what's going on, and get to watch Saturday night's main event, and then we can talk about the Royal Rumble. All right. um, what else happened? Spotify sent out the 2024 Wrapped and gave us a whole bunch of analytics because why not? I love knowing that I'm on the 0.0056% on someone's level, artist, uh, fan. I don't know what it was about. Um, if you listen carefully to the AI version of podcast of your Spotify Wrapped, they called you out. They call you out on stuff. But I also believe that maybe they may have gotten something wrong as they listed Taylor Swift as one of my top artists of the year, when also in 2024, I was listening to Eminem new album when it came out, The Death of Slim Shady. Is it The Death of Slim Shady? Yeah, it was The Death of Slim Shady. Because I listened to it forwards and backwards. So, and then I get Taylor Swift as my top five. Okay. And not only was I jamming that in the car, but I was also told to listen to Electric Cowboy because myself and podcast friend Alexandria from Knows the Sentence podcast asked me to rate their album and pick 5 songs, and it's something that I'm still considering on doing with her. We just haven't had a chance to do it. And this has been like since before October, probably in September or August, around there. I don't remember. Another thing Spotify Rap forgot to do this year is tell me how many hours I've accumulated in the podcast. I remember it told me 2 years ago when I first started that, and last year as well. And I happened to have last year's of 5,034 minutes, uh, 83 hours of content. Compare that to what I did this year. It didn't tell me. So I'm a big numbers guy. I had to go back and log in the hours and minutes of every episode I've ever done. Yes, I did. um, Evidently, it came out to 91 hours. So if you were to binge listen to the whole year of 2024, the catalog list of my podcast, you would have been listening to that 2024 episodes for 3 days and 19 hours. Yes. Yes. Now, I have no idea how many hours you'd be listening to if it was like 199 episodes or 200 now, but it's a lot. It's a lot. It's gonna take weeks for that one. Um, I'll have to add it up then, I guess. But while we were gone, the podcast got a few new listeners. Thanks for making Spotify your preferred method, and I believe I told the person that they were follower number 150. Also, another country is listening to us, so let's give a warm bienvenido welcome to El Salvador. Gracias por escucharnos, salvadoreños. Uh, Also, I just want to say, what was I going to say? See, I already forgot. I'm already forgetting my words here. Um, oh yeah, and also, I'm taking, I'm leaving it on Spotify. I want to leave it on Spotify. I wanted to make this show, this podcast, exclusively for Spotify because I don't have an iPhone. I don't check for the Apple. I don't check Apple at all, iTunes at all. And so toward the end of possibly the month, in a few, maybe in a few weeks here and there, I'm gonna start deleting all the other audio media and just focus more on Spotify and of course YouTube. So you're gonna get the both. You're gonna listen to the episode, and then you're gonna watch the episodes. You're not gonna be able to watch this episode. Maybe I'll give it a chance and have you watch it. It's just me and my face, I guess. It's usually just me and my face, to be honest, unless Menace is in there. But you know, oh well. So let's just not have any more YouTube videos on it, but just put in the audio on the at the YouTube channel. And just recently, it was a big reason why I waited this long. Another reason. There's lots of reasons, and I'm taking accountability for them. But there's lots of reasons why it took me this long to do the 200th episode. Um, TikTok was banned. Yeah, yeah, I know it's not a big deal for some of you. It wasn't for me. Shout out to all my Tumblr Live fans, Tumblr Live people, actually. Yeah, shout out to those people. Those are the big ones for me. That's where I was more I guess you could say like, "Oh, hey, I feel their pain." I was there once last year in 2023, obviously, of course. And when looking back at when I was in 2023, when I was over there, live streaming and doing the podcast over there, I happened to come across some TikTokers who said d- they didn't like Tumblr Live and the whole reason and all that stuff. And lo and behold, I go and check up on them. Me being petty, go and check up on them. And they're all crying because TikTok is leaving. And I'm just sitting here, hey, that sucks for you. Like, whatever. Oops. Um, yeah. It wasn't a big deal that for me that TikTok was getting supposedly banned because I know it was not getting banned. We survived the 2020. I survived the first time they tried to ban it in 2020. But this time around, it was a big deal for most as they have made a life living career on this app. I saw a lot of tears over the past week, and of course, we knew it was coming around November, so you had your time to like grab your stuff, grab your data, and move it around other socials. But here we are at the last minute. You're crying, you're live, and you're crying on live, and you're saying, what? Where am I gonna put this stuff? Hey, we did the same. Tumblr Live. Just shout out to Tumblr Live. Um, it's the anniversary of the death of Tumblr Live, by the way, just in case. Shout out to all of my Tumblr Live people. I There's your shout out right there. Um, I mean, okay, when it was announced, I was a little worried for my community as a content creator. I had to do something, so I content created. I looked around for other live streams. I mean, I have Riverside right here. Like you can come into the chat and just watch me and listen to me. Um, but some people have said they couldn't get in to get in the chat, so I guess fuck it. And the process of getting TikTok getting banned, a few developers have come out with a beta version of a new app that will be coming soon in the next few months. Can't wait for that. So even though President Trump gave us the extra 90 days extension to enjoy the app for what it is, America Talk, because it ain't the same. It ain't the same anymore. Nope. America Talk. Have fun. And while the hashtag TikTok refugee was trending all week long as the masses flocked over to a, a few new apps, a few other old apps that were around. I know some people went to Clover too, C2. There's Clapper. That was too adult for me. There's Likey. I'm already getting community guidelines over there. There's Fanbase, don't like it. And even the Chinese app, Red Note, can't go live there. So what would I like to do if all my friends and listeners that I met on TikTok were going to be in separate places? What is a creator to do but create? I'm a content creator. I think I already said that earlier, right? I must think of something. I must content create. I can't do Discord because I still don't understand it. And I've had some bad experiences with it. I want everyone under one roof. So in comes Beehive newsletter. Yes, I created a newsletter so I can keep everyone that I know under one place. And if anything like what just happened with TikTok happens again, then I can just look for another streaming site or take them all to Riverside. But instead of messaging them one by one and looking for them separately in separate different DMs, I can just do a mass message and it will show up in their emails. Problem solved. Honestly, as of this broadcast, I still don't know what I'm going to do with it. I created it. I still don't know what I'm going to do with it. I could just like send links. Okay, that's and honestly, that was my only thought. But if you're subscribed to me already, please subscribe to the newsletter and get first dibs on the podcast when it comes out. Because maybe I'll make a blog out of it. I have Tumblr, but maybe I'll make a blog out of this and instead of going to Tumblr and put it here. Maybe I'll post the stuff that I forgot to say on the podcast. Or maybe since I can't edit stuff in anymore like I used to, same Anchor for like. Anyway, I will put those in the newsletter as well. So go ahead, subscribe. I got a few subscribers already from just this past week after putting the link to Beehive on the socials. Check out the link. Check out the bio. It's in the link tree as well. I'll post the link tree in the show notes, and it's already in the link tree. So go check those out and subscribe to the newsletter. Let me know. Let me know there. Um, there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to make episode 200 about, but I just didn't want to be able. I just wasn't able to do it. So instead, let's just celebrate a milestone for next time. This episode, much like the first episode of the year in 2024, from here on out as well, let's make it the roadmap or goals for the year because why not? Discuss what's ahead and what's coming and what I have plans for and my goals for it. Roadmap it. As you all know, every year I make a new goal as to how many listeners or downloads I would like to have by the end of the year. The fact that I made it to 20K just in time before the year ended speaks massive volumes. Thank you to whoever has been listening and will continue to listen from here on out. You guys are the MVP. You guys are amazing. Deserve so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Words cannot express how I'm feeling. As 20,000 downloads hit that one night after I did that episode in November, and I just bought. Wait, not November. At the end of December, towards the end of December, like around the 28th, I think. I don't forgot, but I posted on Instagram. Um, but I bawled. I was so happy, and I still am. This is a great big thing. The podcast is currently sitting at 20,225 downloads. So, what's my year end goal? So, I would just, for goal for next year, the goal for next year is going to have to be 50,000 downloads. Shit, I barely made it in 2024 with 10K and 10 more. So let's see if I can if it can happen and increase it by 30K. Let's let's reach for something that's unattainable for me and work my ass for it. It will give me the motivation. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to happen. So let's do that. 50,000 downloads by the end of by next year. By this year, I mean 50,000 downloads this year towards the end of the year. Other goals that I want to happen: more interview with friends. Yes, we're still doing wrestling episodes, and I'm going to get more interviews with friends on that as well as music interviews. A big interview that happened last year was on a Friday the 13th in September. Y'all remember that? Where a friend of ours, Lorfield, released his second single. Where a friend of ours, Lorfield, released his second single. So let's do a follow up on that as well as more artists on other forms of social media. Check out that single on Spotify. Check out Lorfield on Spotify. You'll love it. I know I'm more of a TikTok guy, but due to what's happened lately, I want to branch out to other forums and see what they got going out on there. Going on out there. Geez, I can't speak today, guys. So cheers to that. Let me put this in there as well. I miss drinking my C4. Um, Also, big thing that's gonna happen. I started last year, late last year actually, doing walks around the neighborhood. Working out with my health and all that stuff because why not? And because of diabetes and stuff. Wrestling with diabetes stuff. So this year again, once it gets cooler, once it gets warmer around here, once it gets warmer around here, I'm gonna start walking again. I'm gonna start doing push ups. I'm gonna start doing all that stuff. I'm gonna take accountability for all the actions that I've taken. Um, Reach out to people and have walks with me. You're gonna hear more stuff. I know I said this early last year, 2024, that we would do like challenges for push ups and all that stuff, but it never happened. And then later on in the year, it did happen. So it's gonna happen again. Let's just get it warmer back up again, and then we'll see how everything goes. Okay. Um. Also, late in December, since I already talked about my goals, late in December of last year when I saw I was going to do the Epic 200th episode, I asked the M3P community about their goals, and they came with answers. And here they are. Not for the week, Vanessa says breaks are needed and necessary to be continued on my goals. I haven't lined them up yet. Cheers to crushing your goals, friend. Brandy, I'll listen to on the Cobra Kai stuff. So excited for you. Congratulations. Goals, writing more, finishing my story, finding a way to get my eye surgery. I need a way to cover it and overcoming my fear of having it done. So if you see Brandy, tell her to get her eye surgery. It's Andy. She says becoming better financially. A friend of the podcast, Cindy, seconds this. She says yes. JC, my goals continue fighting for my family, kickboxing, be even healthier and better, working harder, try to forgive better, and not allow anyone to steal my peace. Proud of you. Don't ever let anyone steal your peace. Robbie Doc says, here's my goal. Once the vehicle is paid off that I bought with my ex in October, I'm going to start my goal plan for retirement, which to which is to buy a land in Erie, Pennsylvania, put a tiny home on it, start out by building it up, and use it as a vacation home until I retire in 19 years. I found land lots for as little as 8 to 10K. I've seen prefab winterized tiny homes for about 10K. I basically want to retire near Presque Isle State Park. Google it. Uh, okay. Uh, Bet Not Broken says, congrats. My goal is to be able to continue nursing school. I'd also like to work more on myself this next year, health wise and mentally. Willow Hashi says, working on getting new doctors established and setting up some surgeries to better my health next year. Sky the Panther, she said, try to have more income and get a place again with my fiance. Graceless Days says, you know what? In 2025, my goal is to do all these little things that bring me happiness and dispense with the BS that inherently does not. Jackie Ann says, "Congrats. My goal is to become the best version of myself that I can ever be." And says, "Congratulations. 2025 goals are to bring more peace into my life." Amber says, "My goal is to try and drink more water and exercise more, which I always fail, and also try to work my way to becoming a teacher or work as a teacher's aide." Hmm. Speaking on the topic of water, let's drink that water. Okay, Woody says, "My goal is to get JT out of power and be a stronger and better Canadian in person." Yeah. uh, Crystal Netu says, "More followers." Obviously, he's talking about her TikTok account. And Tiger Wolf says, "Congrats. Goals getting running with Wolves healthy and getting financially stable. We're working on that as well." All right. Thanks everybody for doing that. I know it's late now. It's like 2 months later on it. We're almost at February. Like January is the longest month of the year, and it sucks. But thank you for everyone who answered that last year in December and waited this long. And I appreciate you guys, and you guys are awesome. Okay, late last year, probably around October, maybe November, the lives started getting a surge of new people, and with that, a surge of new listeners for the podcast. One in particular was a friend of the community who had a job in the food and beverage industry and would tell us restaurant stories so outrageous we didn't even believe them. No. So over time, she got comfortable with us and became part of our community. So I asked her to send me one of those stories and I would read it on the podcast. This is something that should have been done in December, but I took that break. So I will let you know what the outcome was at the end of it. This comes from her name is Sabrina, and she wrote in November 18th. It was a wind free day. I should have known. Sigh. Well, it started off very well. My coworker, I will call her Jay, who was going to be my partner, cake decorator, lasted 3 days, said she couldn't work for an Indian man. I know how it sounds, but it's how it's happened. She walked out at the end of her lunch before she walked out. She handed me her apron and her hat. I gave it to the boss and he said, "Where's Jay?" I said, "She left." He said, "Oh, for the day?" I said, "No, for the life." He got up his chair so quick and asked if he could talk to me outside. He was trying to explain himself and asked me if I knew any information and why she didn't talk to him. I told him I knew nothing, even though I knew so much. The cherry on top for her was him having us put our towels that we used for the day in the dishwasher for 2 minutes, carry them to a ring, carry them to a sink, wring them out, and have hang them dry. Oh my god! The cherry on top for her was having us put our towels that we used for the day in the dishwasher for 2 minutes, carry them to a sink, wring them out, and hang them to dry to use the next day. When he talked to me, I let him know that that was one of the reasons why she couldn't do it the next day. He let us know that we were getting a towel service. We were getting a towel service. Okay, so I'm just gonna read this again. The cherry on top for her was him having us put our towels that we used for the day in the dishwasher for 2 minutes, carry them to a sink. I'm gonna butcher this one more time. The cherry on top for her was him having us put our towels that we used for the day in the dishwasher for 2 minutes, carry them to a sink, wring them out, and hang them to dry to use the next day. When he talked to me, I let him know that that was one of the reasons why she couldn't do it the next day. When he talked to me, I let him know that was one of the reasons why she couldn't do it. The next day, he let us know that we were getting a towel service. Mind you, we only see the towel service twice a month and we're open 6 days a week. So they still hand wash towels in the front. Oh my God. November 22, the day after Jake quits, he hires a new girl right away. We will call her Sal. Hello, Sal. She said she knew how to decorate cakes. She knew how to cook. She knew how to do everything. But for some reason, the cake layers were messed up, or the frosting wasn't working right. The spatulas weren't working right, etc. She didn't know how to fucking decorate shit. She's pissed off. She was working with us for about 5 days until he texted her, firing her. He told her it was because of budget, but the truth was he was scared because she told him that he was in her way and that he smelled, and she went outside and was breaking down boxes with her fist. She came in the next day to get her stuff and saw two new hires. He hid in the office until she left. December 2nd, one of our two cooks, the one who comes in the morning, looks at me and says, "This is some shit." I said, "Yep." And I guess that triggered him because 45 minutes goes by and the baker comes in and says, "Hey, where's the cook?" I said, "I don't know. He should be over there. Why?" And she said, "He's not there." I said, "What do you mean he wasn't there?" "He's not there. He was there earlier and said she said he was in his car. It's not here." So I asked the boss. The boss we will call Chip Dip because he smells like corn chips. Oh, sweet Christmas. Yes, like fucking corn chips. By the way, I can no longer eat corn chips now. So Chip Dip told me he had a family emergency and had to leave. So Chip Dip was trying to look at the pictures to figure out how to cook the food because he had no idea. So you look at pictures? You don't look at videos? So the dishwasher runs over so Chip Dip can teach him how to cook. The dishwasher is wow. Even though he doesn't know how to boil water, wow. Before I left that day, the dishwasher, the runner, and Chip Dip were trying to cook. So three people were trying to cook. And there was at least 7, 9 plates that came back and they only served about 14 people. How is how is this restaurant still open? The next day, both cooks were supposed to be there at 8 a.m. No cook showed up, so the dishwasher and the runner were cooking some of the items. They basically closed down the kitchen. Funny thing is, our barista bartender, white dude, super cool, we would call him E. When people would call, he would tell them, "Don't even bother. We don't even have cooks. You'll get mad if you come here." LOL. Uh, Laughing emojis. Payday, end of December. Are you sitting? Are you all sitting? Is anybody listeners? Are you all sitting? So the end of December. On November 18th, we gave our direct deposit information, and we were told that it should only take 14 to 28 days to direct deposit to hit in our bank. Until then, we would get paper checks. Mind you, he writes them out from his personal account, which is already weird. Oh shit. So right now we're in the month of December. We fast forward a little bit. The bank, I have the deposits go through at night and the next morning at 8 a.m. It will be deposited into the bank no later than 8:30 a.m. It never changes. It's just how my bank works. So 8:15 a.m. He's still not at work. Chip Dip finally at about 8:25. Chip Dip pops in the building, and I ask him after a couple minutes of while he is helping the dishwasher cook with a new guy in his sandal, slides, and gold chain. All right, for those of you that work in the restaurant industry, what do you guys make of this so far? Because it's a long story. But what do you guys think of this so far? If you guys do work in the restaurant industry, or if you don't, like, did you think? Yeah, no. um, what she asked him what time is the direct deposit going to hit? He said, "Oh, this his guy is on vacation." Oh my god! I said, "What does that have to do with me?" He said, "I'm going to write you out a paper check." I said, "Okay, how long? Because I will have to go deposit into my bank." I was looking forward to direct deposit and my rank is going to take out. I don't want it to overdraft. He put his finger up and says, "Wait a minute." She's saying this right now. She like wrote it down. Let's pause for a second. He put his finger up and says, "Wait a minute. Let's pause for a second." He put his finger up and said, "Wait a minute. Who in the actual fuck does this salty person, Dorito smelling corn chip, think he's talking to?" I got so mad, I said, "I don't have a minute. This has to do with my money." He said, "You're going to get your money. You need to wait." I said even louder, "You have 5 minutes or I'm walking out and I am done." After 5 minutes, I walked outside. Are you all eating your popcorn? Is everybody eating their popcorn for this? Because this is ridiculously crazy. She continues, "I called my boyfriend to try to relax, and then after I called my dad, and my dad calmed me down way more, saying, 'Don't let my emotions cause my actions.' So I took a breath and I went back inside and I was working like a turtle for like the next 10 minutes. I love that she calls her boyfriend first because the boyfriend will hype her up, but the dad would be like, 'No, think rationally about this. Think rationally.' The boyfriend would be like, 'Nah, fuck that. Fucking.'" And the dad's all like, "Been there." um, all right, she continues. Chip Dip came in the room, super nervous and scared that I was going to leave because I was moving my stuff in one area, and he told me he would sell me my money so that I don't have leave him. So for the first time in my life, I got Zelled my whole check from a personal account from an employer. Anybody? Do you guys relate to any of this? Do you guys, anybody at all? Are you guys out there? Kim, send me some feedback on here. Let me know what you guys think. mppnetwork@gmail.com. Let me know what you all thought of this story. It's still going, but let me just let me know. Just let me know. Now, because the business account didn't have funds in it, how was he going to pay everybody if his business account didn't have funds and he paid me from his personal? Couple hours go by, and the other two Americans who work for this business ask, "Did you guys get paid? Did you guys get paid?" The baker, we will call her B, said no, but Sabrina did. The cook said, "I will flip all this shit over." So Sabrina gets paid, but not me. Let's flip some fucking tables over. He came into my little closet. Yes, by the way, I work in the old soda closet. That's where she put all her stuff, her belongings. I have one table. He asked me why I was paid and no one else was, and I told him the situation. He said, "I'm going to text them and tell them to run me my money." After a couple hours, he did come back and he did issue checks to the Americans. His people have only been paid one time, and they have been working since the first week of November. And the only reason they've been paid the one time is because he overheard me talking to them saying that it was illegal. And that afternoon, he came into my soda closet and told me that I had crumbs and the health department was going to shut us down because of the crumbs I had in my mini fridge. Oh my God. Mind you, there has been a box of onions on the floor for about 15 days and cake mix bags on the floor as well for about 3 weeks. Chicken in the sink, no water running. And don't get me started about the guy who, with the sandals, with his uncircumcised sausage toes. Retaliation is my boss's best friend. Oh, man. Anybody? Anybody out there that's laughing at this? Oh shit. Chip Dip decided to hire another person who's gonna be his cook, one of his people, of course. He had shoes on, that was a plus, but turns out he got let go at the end of the day because he decided to keep touching his feet while he was cooking on the line. Oh my god, that's so disgusting. Also, as soon as January 1st hit, our other cook, the one who wanted his money, quit. Today, January 3rd, no cook shows up, just a dishwasher, sausage toast, and chip dip. We all have given them nicknames. She has given everybody nicknames. Um, Baker replacement. So let's talk about the second American baker who got fired a few weeks back and is apparently calling CNN. She got replaced by one of his people. Let's call her Cash. She doesn't know how to do anything. She asks a million questions and she curls her R's so hard. Well, Yesterday, we almost fought. Well, technically, I almost just beat her ass. I don't know why everyone's so afraid of me. Ha ha ha. Laughing emojis. Every time cash needs to get through, it doesn't matter if you're holding 1 million things. She says, "Excuse me, I need to get through," more than 3 times, like as if you're just gonna throw everything in the air and jump out of her way for her. Oh my god. I was trying to get cake layers to take them to my mini fridge. She needed to keep passing me because the kitchen is very, very small. I moved about 4 times. By the time the fifth time came, I said, "No, bro, you need to fucking wait a minute. I'm not gonna keep moving. You wait 1 minute, me not move." She got so scared. She's like, "I'm so sorry, Sabrina." I left so quick. I wanted to flip the whole rack of shit. I had to go stand outside. Then I go back inside and I hear Sabrina, Sabrina, Sabrina. Can I have a piping bag of? I said, "Yeah." She said, "Can you hand it to me?" I looked at her like emojis. Um, and she said, "Oh, okay, I will get it." I'm like, "Oh Lord, send help." Fast forward to the day 1/3 of was better day only. Fast forward to the day January 3rd. It was a better day. Only a couple plates get returned. Still no cook. The baker took a day off because she worked so much, but the cash replacement for the second baker, she couldn't even bake off some cakes. She asked me to check them, and I did, and they were raw. I told her to put them back in the oven. She said, "Okay," and then stared at me, and the cakes just sat there. So I'm pretty sure I'm coming into raw cakes tomorrow. Oh, and the chicken was still in the sink when I left with no water, running. Oh my god. Okay, and that's all she wrote for that time. Um, update on this situation this past week. She was let go. Her boss asked her to decorate a cake, and after she was done, she was no longer needed. She had said she wanted to destroy the cake right then and there. I would have destroyed the kitchen instead. You know, leave the cake alone, but destroy the kitchen. At least your job is right there. So shout out to Sabrina for maintaining her cool and not destroying the cake. Um, that was amazing. That was awesome. Uh, hopefully we get more restaurant stories from her. Or if you're in the restaurant industry, I know a few of you. I work with a few of you. Send me your stories, and I'll probably I gotta think of stories that happened a while back, but I'll send you some of the stories as well. But that's all from Sabrina and the restaurant stories, and I think that's all from me as well. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. Gaming was happening. I was listening to podcast, um, podcast that I was listening to. Uh, Yeah, I podcaster listens to other podcasts. Some that I have met along the way, and others who I have yet to meet. Either way, I want you to give these podcasters a follow. Um, Rivals Assemble, a Marvel Rivals podcast. This one I accidentally happened to have come across when I typed in the search bar on Spotify, Marvel Rivals, and the first one that popped up was this one, and it was the freshly made. So I started listening to it and going along with the news and leaks that was happening in the game. They also talk about each character in the game and their origin story, so it's awesome getting to listen to the other characters I know nothing about, like Psylocke or Jeff the Shark, the good boy. Things I didn't know either, like Squirrel Girl is voiced by the AT&T girl Lily Adams, whose real name is actually Milena Vaintrub, and Jeff the Shark is voiced by our good friend John Bailey, epic voice guy, who showed up on my live that one time, and I acted like a fanboy. Yeah, that happened. So check out Rivals Assemble if you haven't yet. If you're into Rivals Assemble, if you're into Marvel Rivals, it's a pretty fun podcast. Shooting the Weed with Weezy Blonde. If y'all don't know who she is, she's an amazing content creator. I first heard about her through the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, which is toxic. and all in itself, but she's a good thing that came out of the toxic IWC. She's on Twitch and she's had her podcast for a while, but is now just coming back to publish episodes. If you're a wrestling fan, you probably know who she is, or if you're not, she's one of the awesome faces you see reacting to epic wins like CM Punk's comeback and Tiffany Stratton's WWE Women's title win. Definitely listen to her episodes. She's awesome. Love her. Another awesome podcast, Law and Disorder. Sergey, who's become a friend of ours for a while, has been coming to the streams and hanging out with us. A radio DJ, side host, and a job as well as a car salesman. This dude does it all. Check out his podcast. Their latest episode was about weird Christmas traditions from around the world. So he needs to update a new episode. And finally, but not least, Defying the Odds with Abby Vaden. Defying the Odds is a compelling, empowering platform that offers a unique blend of personal experiences, practical advice, and inspiring stories. Abby's resilience and unwavering hope shine through in her storytelling, empowering listeners to find strength and courage in the face of adversity by sharing her own journey of overcoming health challenges, embracing life joys. Abby invites her audience to join her in a space growth, connection, and inspiration. And that's it. That's what I've been doing lately. Marvel Rivals and podcasting. Or listening to podcasts. I'm gonna need to ease back into this platform again. I may have missed a few things, like my health. I'll update that in a few weeks from now, and when it's springtime. Uh, what else? Wrestling stuff, of course, and other things I may have missed. I'll probably put it on the newsletter and tell you all about it. But for now, however, if you feel you want to do more, support M3P Network and the podcast follows on Instagram, Blue Sky, the threads at M3P Network. Check out on YouTube if you want to watch us. Subscribe to the newsletter. It won't cost you anything, but you will be reading a bunch of stuff from me. The links will be in the show notes and in the link tree. Follow and join the lives on TikTok for the time being until I move to another platform or we get two new apps that are coming soon. Regardless of that, the name will be the same when you find me at Evolution of a Geek by subscribing or join us. And show up to the live streams. Hang out with the rest of the M3P community and I will shout you out. Just like Menace, Brandy, your bestie Joe, Becca Lynn, Stabby Tabby, Leanna, Daniela, Celtic Panda, Alexandria, Still Little Redhead, Katrina Hanna, Sky the Panther 84, Feeling Free, Cosmic Lover 13, Katie Bear 0183, Misty K, Jesse Two Shades 22, Llama Queen, Always Your Flashlight, Ada Patricia, Big Mama 9mm, Paula Jaeger Bomb, Sudsy Whisper ASMR. You gotta say it like whisper it. Sudsy Whispers ASMR. Go to her live and she's washing dishes quietly. Brooklyn Girl 1380, Miss LB, Bestie, Cindy's 1984, After's Pod with Ash, I Challenge You 2024, Running with Wolves 20, Tiger Wolf, Spicy Cajun Queen, Plain Jane, Cuban Butterfly, Willow Hashi, Wally from Cali, Sabrina Camacho 718, JC232118, Smudog 38, Queen May, oh my god, Becky, all for the kiddos, Linda Balderrama, Andy, Tara Ray, Risalia, Ris uh Rissa Alia, Lala Lista 315, Gangsta Face, that Art Chicroni, D Styles, Helly Cost, Sugar Queen 15, Slay by Milla, Biggest Mood, Miss Beauty Fit, Angelique Burgos, Jenny B's Power Flow, Mango and Sour Patch, Smoky Vanilla, Surge of All Trades, Lil Joy, Carpe Diem, Kenzie, Big Mart TV, No Clue, It's Me, DJ, Gravity, Bell Hope, Nix, Haley Norby, Gordita Bea, Upside Down Girl 84, Mom's Little Baddie, Destiny D, Mars, Paula Yeager, again, she on here twice, Queen of Soul, Lorefield fam, Home Hope Saints, over on YouTube, Lone Dog 80, Vibe with Alyssa and Shenrod. And don't forget to check out Skylar'sCrystalShop.etsy.com for self-healing crystals and free gifts with every order. That is a long list. I apologize. That was all me. I'm now updating stuff. Uh, Check that out, and thank you for supporting and subscribing to the newsletter. If you do, listen to the podcast, join the TikTok live, and become a huge part of my third place community. Tell your friends, and join us next time for more behind the scenes stories, movies, and TV show reviews. Thank you all, and good night, and welcome back to the M3P Network podcast.